So what's up, you guys? So this format looks a little different because we're going to have a debate for the first time on this channel. And we're having a debate because I don't want to talk about this. Because Carson Wentz is my favorite player. I got the Wentz shirt on right now. I'm an Eagles fan, but he's still my favorite player. And I don't want to talk about what's going on with him right now. So I brought my good friend, Miles Good, a Colts fan himself, to talk about this. So you have the floor. What do you think about Wentz?
What do I think about Wentz? He is garbage, okay? He is utterly one of the worst QBs that I've had to deal with as a Colts fan. Now, I've gone through a lot of QB. I've been through Josh Freeman. I've been through, I guess, hold up.
You can't even name
I can't name it. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of quarterbacks, though. And he, as a starting quarterback, he has been one of the worst, okay? I will admit to that. And a lot of people have said that he is a very underconfident person. He's dealing with confidence issues. I'd actually like to agree on the exact opposite. You know, like he's been a little too overconfident to the point where like he tries to be like Patrick Mahomes, but without the Patrick Mahomes abilities. And he'll make these like superhuman, superhero, Superman plays that he just can't do himself.
So you're saying he doesn't make these plays at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Every now and then he'll get lucky. Like he'll have one lucky play. It's luck.
It's
luck.
luck.
Because luck doesn't happen twice, and he don't make these plays multiple times a game.
Continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just what do you think right now?
I got like multiple games in mind I could bring up.
All right, bring up the examples. I want to hear them.
First thing I think of was I think it was week 2 against the Rams. It was in the fourth quarter. We had the game in our hands. We had, I think it was like a second down or a third down, and Carson Wentz tried to roll out, and he tried to run through Aaron Donald. You know, like the Aaron Donald. He tried to run through him and ultimately just gave up on the play.
It's hard.
Threw it away.
He has heart.
He has heart. He ended up with 2 sprains on that play, too. 2 ankle sprains.
So you're going to blame him for getting hurt is what I'm hearing.
I'm blaming him for trying to do things that's outside of his reach. Like, he cannot make those plays himself.
Okay. Well, there's plenty
He's too overconfident in himself, and it caused him to get injured.
I know Wentz as an Eagle has broke through sacks, like piles of defenders on him and broke through and made plays, but if you say he can't make those plays,
he's not there anymore. Like this idea that you have a Wentz, he is gone. Okay. I have not seen that Wentz in a Colts uniform.
Okay. Maybe what I've learned from this year is that he's not the second-year Wentz that was the MVP candidate. But I still think he can be productive, and I still think he can win you games, as it showed when you guys were on track to make the playoffs and you guys were talking about Super Bowl in the middle of the year. Okay, maybe you weren't, but there were some Colts fans that said it. This is the guy. He has not been on. He's hated Wentz from the jump. Let's just say
he
that.
is a strong word.
Okay. All right. You have not won. You have strongly disliked Carson Wentz as your quarterback. Let's just say that, right?
Because I felt as though we should try to keep Phillip Rivers over him. You know, I know Phillip Rivers wanted to retire. We should have done our best to prevent him from doing that. Maybe like for another year or 2.
But if the guy's done, he's done.
If he's done, yeah, for sure. He also said that he wanted to come back, and we didn't give an effort to give him an offer to come back.
Okay, fair enough. And I'll give you that. Because based on this year, even though I don't think this year from Wentz was that bad when you really look at it. Numbers wise, if you like took the Carson Wentz name off and just put up his numbers, you would think it was like your typical starter.
I would think he's a middle of the pack quarterback.
Okay. Do you think you can find better than middle of the pack right now?
Right. That's the unfortunate part. Like right now, there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to the quarterback market. Like with the draft, there's not many prospects. With free agency, I'm not sure you'll find anything there. With trading, I think the only things you can get is maybe like Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins, which I'm not sure what Kirk Cousins can do. That's an upgrade.
I'll give you that.
Carson
Kirk Cousins
Wentz.
might be a better option. I'll give you that. But
I said it's around the same. It might be an upgrade, but it's not necessarily anything better.
Yeah. I don't know. With Kirk Cousins, though, it's weird because like his numbers might be inflated by Minnesota, but But yeah, I'm gonna be honest though. I'm having a harder time defending Wentz. I've defended Wentz since what year? He probably first started getting criticism around year 3 when the whole Nick Foles thing happened. I defended him through that. I defended him through this, and now this report coming out that he might be traded or released. It might be hitting that point where maybe I'm gonna call it. This is how I'm gonna say it. The injury ruined his career. I refuse to say that he was just bad. I'm just gonna say it's a tragedy, and the injury just ruined his career.
I think he's always been too confident in himself, which I'm sure, like at one point, like you said, he had the MVP season. He was great. I think the injury might have like set him back and kind of prevented him from making those plays again, which he still has that mindset that he can, which I don't think he should at this point.
Yeah, there's an aspect of that too where, like, he had the MVP season, and he was kind of already, like, that confident before. And then the injury kind of set him back, didn't have that same... I thought he was still very good for a couple more years, but he didn't have, like, that same ability that he had before. And now it's just turned into a complete hero ball. It kind of reminds me of, like, Russell Westbrook a little bit, where, like, it's a complete hero ball. I got to take over the game. And I'll admit this, in your situation, he didn't really need to do that. Just make the wide open throws, hand the ball to Jonathan Taylor, and
yes. And there's so many games this year that he's tried to be the hero in the case where he just didn't need to. Like I think it results in a lot of losses that we could have had become wins, but ultimately it came down to like the last game of the season, which I don't think a season's lost in your last game.
Yeah.
So that was inevitable. We're going to lose to Jaguars.
Is it inevitable you're going to lose to the team that ended up with the number one pick? That was inevitable.
It's inevitable because we've been losing to them the past 7 years.
Okay.
But that game didn't lose us the season. We've had other games throughout the season that we've lost because of Wentz.
No, and there it is.
And that's the reason why we didn't make the playoffs.
So you're only going to nitpick the games that Wentz made mistakes in, and then you're saying,
because there was more losses that were his fault than Wentz.
So what about you? Because you started like 1-5. You started like 1-5, right?
Because 2 sprains. Yeah.
What about all the other injuries? What about the Ty injury and the Quentin Nelson injury? Like there was so many injuries on that offense. So to put that all on Wentz, don't you think that's a little unfair?
Yeah, to put it all on the most important position. Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah.
That is, and that's the tragedy of the league. That's the tragedy of the league. It's always the quarterback's fault. But
yes, because we've had other wide receivers that came in and filled in for him, and we've had other linemen that came in and filled for.
Okay, but would you agree that that's like a subpar receiving core compared to the rest of the league? Is like not even the rest of the league, playoff teams. Couldn't you say it's a subpar receiving core?
It is, but we've seen quarterbacks do better with less. So, like, if you look at what the teams that Tom Brady's had to go through to win Super Bowls with, I can't name a lot of those receiving cores that he had to propel out of nowhere.
I would say it's still better than Michael Pitt. Like, Edelman and Amendola is still probably better than...
But he made Chris Hogan look like an MVP candidate in the Super Bowl.
That is true. And I don't know where.
I don't even know where Chris Hogan's at anymore.
I think Chris Hogan's gone. I'm pretty sure. That's fair enough. But yeah, and Wentz won't be that guy. But I at least see him as like being the scapegoat in all of this. Like let's just back because Wentz already has all this. He already has this rep in the media of being a bad quarterback. Let's just throw it all on him.
Yeah, because I could probably name like 3 or 4 losses that we had because of Wentz, as opposed to maybe like the 1 or 2 games that we've won because of him. So I would make him the scapegoat.
Okay, but what about all the other losses?
What about all the other losses?
Yeah.
There's a lot of losses that are team losses. There's a lot of...
So how come like the Jacksonville game, for example, can't be like a team loss because the whole team played bad?
See, with the Jacksonville game, that was like, what, a 2-score game? We potentially could have won that game, but the offense was absent throughout the entire game. There's a lot of 3 and outs that we've had that resulted in the defense just letting up a score because they're on the field the whole time.
Yeah.
So you got to help out the defense by staying on the field.
Yeah, and I would agree it's not completely the defense's fault. But the offensive line got dominated in that game. Jonathan Taylor did nothing. True. So it's like, I understand. Wentz played bad. I'll be the first to say that. But it's not all his fault per se. And I feel like that's kind of the narrative that's been running around.
I wouldn't say it's all his fault, but a majority of the reasons why we were losing was because of him. He was making bad reads at the snap. He was doing a lot of audibles. I noticed early on in the season he would be doing this audible a lot.
Yeah.
Out of running plays.
Yeah.
The kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to assume that there are like a lot of running plays that we could have had getting Jonathan Taylor more touches, but he would audible out of him trying to be a hero, and it would result in either like an incompletion or just a bad play overall.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just in denial, but I will continue until Wentz is officially gone. I will continue to defend him, but yeah, it's getting tougher as a Wentz fan. I'm going to be honest.
It's getting tougher as a Colts fan. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna bash him just because overall he's on my team, so I have to support him.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna ignore the issues that he's had because he's on my team.
Fair enough. And as a fan, we should call out the players. Mm-hmm. It's a sad day for me. I don't want to come to this point with Carson Wentz. And
if you're watching this, do better, please. I don't know. I'm excited for the next year. Hopefully, we can find some people in free agency. Hopefully, we could do something in the draft. We lost our draft pick in the first round, so we can't do anything with that.
Yep, to us, we get that pick.
Can't do anything with that. But,
yep.
Hopefully, we see like what the Rams have done. And hopefully, we can kind of like replicate that mold of working through free agency and kind of good players.
I think there's still options for you guys, whether you keep Wentz or not. I think there's still options, and this is probably the worst year to need a quarterback. I think we're in that same boat too as with the Eagles, but I think there are some options out there, whether by trade or through free agency. We'll just have to see what happens. Yeah, guys. So this is the first debate. I didn't want to talk about this. I hate to talk about my guy Wentz, but
this took a lot from him.
It did. It really did. So y'all are going to say something in the comments. Y'all are going to bash Wentz in the comments. I already know it. But let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time.